Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima. Over the course of 2026, I'm playing the game Persona 3 Reload. Only I'm trying something a little different. I'm going to match the pace of the game. That's right, I'm playing this game one real day at a time. Please enjoy this different take on the game in a series I'm calling Persona a Day. Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima, and today is Wednesday, May 13th. As I like to do, I start out by talking about what we did yesterday. That way we're all aware of what happened and what we're coming into with today. Then we'll get into today's gameplay and see where that takes us. And then after that, we'll come back here and we'll talk about it a bit and see what sort of deeper connections we can make. For anybody watching on YouTube, I will have timestamps in the description in case you want to jump to a specific section. I do also want to let everybody know that this is a full playthrough of the game, so we will be encountering spoilers. I will do my best to mitigate that as best as possible, but as time keeps going on, we'll keep seeing more and more of the story, so I just want everyone to be fully aware and warned about that. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what we did yesterday on May 12th. Yesterday started out, actually before school yesterday, Junpei sent us a text and just wondered if we had any free time after school, if we had any interest in hanging out with him. He hasn't reached out to us with anything like that before, so that was a good thing to keep in mind. But that led us into a normal school day. We headed there at the normal time, we went through our classes. There weren't any specific scenes to call anything out, but I like to think that with exams coming next week, this week's really been all about those last-minute lessons and the important review preparation as we're getting closer. So there was that probable bit of tension in class and just getting ready for all of the big upcoming academic hurdles we'll have to cross next week. But after school, before we got back to Junpei, as we normally do, we took a bit of a stroll around. It was nice weather. It was a sunny May afternoon. So we went out and we visited the Weak Cat at the Port Island station, and as we do, we just said hi there. The same, we went to the Velvet Room and checked in with Elizabeth's requests and to greet Igor. And the last bit of our rounds, we went to Officer Kurosawa. We had a little bit of money made from our time in Tartarus the other day, so I was able to upgrade our armor. Got some new armor for Yukari, so we're all as defensible as we can be for now with what he has to offer. I felt good about that because the next time we get to Tartarus, we'll just be that much better able to survive whatever comes at us. And with that business out of the way, I decided it was a good chance to get in touch with Junpei. Like I said, he hasn't reached out to us before with offers like this, and it sounded like a lot of fun to just get to see him in a different setting. Something where we weren't at school and we weren't having to fight shadows and deal with whatever dangers are around. And even better, once I got to get a hold of him, he's like, "Hey, you want to go to the arcade?" Which I'm like, "Yeah, I want to go to the arcade. That sounds fun." So we made our way over to Game Parade and just had a good, relaxing afternoon there. Junpei talked about how much of a hero he felt like after the monorail incident, and the fact that we were able to save all the people on both the trains and avoid damage to the city and any injuries to anybody. He talked about how great that feels and how much he really wanted that, needed that in his life. So it was kind of cool that we were able to have that opportunity. And he also did let me know that he does have respect for me as a leader. I didn't really necessarily doubt it before, but there were times where he did kind of seem to be a little put off that I was given this, combat lead role when he felt just as capable as I was. And he might not be wrong there either. I had a little bit more experience with my persona, but there's a lot of different facets to leadership, so it's only natural that he had some reservations before just blindly accepting me. And he went on to kind of elaborate into that as well. He does trust me as a leader, but he also has some good solid expectations of what he wants to see from a leader, which, again, is totally fair. And he said, this is what I expect if I'm going to follow you, and if you're not able to live up to my standards, then I'll be there to take the lead myself. Which, you could kind of take as potentially confrontational, but I actually really appreciated that because, he put all his cards on the table there and said, "Look, I trust you, but this is what a leader needs to be. You can do that, right?" That wasn't his way of saying, "I don't think you can do this, I'm going to take it." It was his way of saying, live up to these standards and we'll be a great team. So that just, kind of lit a fire under me to motivate me to really want to live up to those standards and prove myself to the entire team. And I mean, there is something to be said for knowing that, Junpei's keeping an eye on us as well, and he will step up and he will not pull any punches and say, "Listen, man, this needs to happen this way." So it just, it keeps that team dynamic going. I don't want to be on a pedestal above him or anything, even if I'm the one that's kind of in charge of making some of the combat decisions. At the end of the day, we are still a team. It's just kind of nice to have that hierarchy with equality built into it. It keeps me motivated, it keeps me accountable, And it just kind of has that mutual understanding between the both of us now. There aren't these like we're walking on eggshells of distrust and annoyed feelings that are bubbling under the surface. It's all out in the open now. Yeah, we know how the other one feels, and I think we just grew that much closer as a result. But then after all that deep talk, it got back to the fun side of things. We were playing some fighting games. Junpei wondered if we could learn any secret techniques or combo moves or something from these games that we could use in Tartarus. He even joked about how cool it would be if somebody decided to make a game out of our adventures. Yeah, a nice little fourth wall breaking moment there. But it was nice to have that deep talk, but then to just get back to the casual unwinding time with a friend, just playing some games and enjoying the afternoon without having to worry about anything. So we spent the time doing that. I'm sure it was a lot of good back and forth competitions there. We both seemed to leave the arcade on a good note, and we just headed back to the dorm together feeling like we made a lot of progress. Or at least I felt that way. And as an added bonus, Junpei gained 3 points of strength with his persona. So by overcoming some of those misgivings and concerns he had, he was able to literally grow stronger as a result. So I think we really came away pretty good from that interaction, and I felt like it was a good use of our time. So he and I headed back to the dorm after our time at the arcade, and as we were getting there, Yukari was just on her way out. She said she was going to go meet with some friends because she needed to pick up some copies of some class notes, as she's been trying her best to get ready for next week's exams. And so she said she was going to be out for the evening, wouldn't be available to go to Tartarus with us, and that was the last we saw of her for the evening. And that being the case, I didn't really feel like it was best to go to Tartarus without her. I bet Junpei and I would have been, more or less okay, but A, I don't want to risk overstretching and, not making the most of our time. But B, I don't want to, leave Yukari behind in the leveling up process of things. So it wasn't imperative that we made it back to Tartarus yesterday. So I decided it was a good night to do something else then. And especially the fact that Yukari talked about headed out to work on exam preparation, that kind of, especially motivated me to look at focusing on my academics to do what I can to get ready. I considered heading to Wakatsu Kitchen. We'd done that a few times to work on our academics. And it didn't sound bad to me. It's not overly expensive. But just from a story and narrative standpoint, I kind of talked it out with you guys yesterday and said, it would be nice if I could just, improve my academic performance by eating a fish dinner, but in my own experience, it's never really worked that way. And so I decided we would look at doing something we hadn't done before and just spend the evening studying in our room. So, we headed upstairs, got comfy at the desk, got our books and our notes out, and just started studying. And it was just, that self-guided pace, but it felt a lot more fitting to the story. We were going over our own class notes and using our own class textbooks. So I like to think we were really focusing on specific things that we were going to be likely to encounter on the exam and just doing that actual responsible preparation that way. And it sounded like we were able to solve some difficult questions and feel accomplished that way. We gained a point of academic progress. Not enough to take us to a new threshold for an academic level yet, but just another point closer there. But it really felt like we were, like I say, preparing for the actual exams next week. And I want to keep the fact that exams are coming in mind as I decide what the best use of my time is for these next couple days, because I do want to be as ready as we can be. But after that, we were able to wrap up our studying feeling like we made some solid progress, that we understood some stuff better, and that it was just that natural stopping point. That was something else we kind of talked about yesterday, too. After you're studying for a while and things start to kind of not click quite as freshly as they did, or some lines start to blur in your head. It's like you just kind of know when it's time to stop studying as well. So I think we got all we could out of our studying, and we were able to put our books away then and get to sleep and just kind of unwind for the rest of the night and come into today feeling fresh. So that is where we left off yesterday. That moves us into the middle of the week already. Again, exams are coming, so we're going to have that to look forward to. Other than that, I will get us over the game, and we will see where Wednesday the 13th takes us. Okay. Sorry about the bit of a break there. So this is where we left off after studying last night. We made that little bit of academic progress, and so we're still playing ordinary and average, but we're getting better every time. So we'll finish up with what we saw last night, and then we'll get into today. All right, we're moving along with the real calendar now, and we're on Wednesday the 13th. And as we like to do, we can hear other people talking, so we'll just pay a bit of attention to that. I can hear other people talking.
Hey, listen!
I made zero progress studying for exams. I just can't concentrate at home. Even if I wanted to go somewhere else to study, I don't have the money for it right now. Why don't you go to the library then? It's nice and quiet. You can find lots of reference materials there. Plus, it's free. Yeah, you've got a point. I could study there. I just wish I had the money for the Prodigy platter at Wakatsu. Do you think it's really true? That just one bite could make you smarter? Oh, I envy the rich. Yeah, Wakatsu has been good for our academic progress so far. I can't remember if there was a day we studied in the library. I think there was a while ago. I might have to keep that in mind. The other day they were mentioning the benefits of the school library here as well. So depending on what sort of other options we have, we'll keep that in mind for after school. But for now, the first bell has rung.
All right, class is starting.
Mr. Takenozuka now. Let's discuss the Earth's rotation today. The Earth completes one full rotation every 24 hours. All right, don't fall asleep on me now. This may be basic, but it's an important premise for the rest of the lesson.
Then,
let's see. Shima? Do you know Leon Foucault? He's a French physicist who performed experiments regarding the rotation of the Earth. Which tool did he use in his experiments? I think I might know this one. Was he the one that used pendulums? Or... the fact that that's a choice, and that was where my mind went, I can't discount that. I'm not sure how hourglasses would be used in Earth's rotation. And a planisphere could... I'm not exactly sure, 100% what a planisphere is technically, but I seem to remember that the pendulum had dealt with being able to, it was a large enough pendulum or something that it was able to more or less, prove the fact that the Earth was moving because it was causing the movement of the pendulum. I'm certainly missing all sorts of details on that, so anybody in the comments who wants to let me know, what the actual, logic is there, if this is indeed correct, feel free to chime in. But since I thought pendulum before the question was finished, I'm going to have to just go with my gut on that one. The pendulum. Come on.
You got it.
All right. Yes, a pendulum. The device he built has become eponymized with the Fortunal pendulum, with full-scale replicas installed around the world. Flip to the next page. Oh, this is an application. Let's skip that, and that's an experiment. Okay, I answered correctly. That feels nice and, a bit of redemption. For anybody who's been here for a while, you'll know that I think I'm on an 0-3 streak with, class questions recently, so it's nice to finally get one again. Everyone in the class is looking at me with respect. And it is nice to just be able to answer correctly in a question like that. Oh, here is something I did not expect. That point of charm, that actually, leveled us up. Sweet. We are now an unpolished, ordinary, average person. Very nice. I'm very happy with that. That really feels like the kind of school day you can walk away from feeling really good about. So much so that I want to save it right away. Okay, so here we are in the after-school hours. We had some people talking about the library this morning. Could be a good use of our time. But let's start with our mail and work our way across to our usual places first. Oh, we've got Bunkichi. First off here, an old man's request. My dear Tom-chan, won't you come visit us? From Bunkichi. Perhaps. We did promise Maiko here that we would play again, and she says, let's play. I'm at the shrine. Let's play together. Rainbows. And then an ad from Wakatsu. Healthy brain food. Are you eating well? Keeping a well-balanced diet nourishes your brain, which in turn can improve your studies. We prepare great food with all our hearts just for you. Remember, a healthy brain stems from healthy food. Wakatsu's got your back. Nice to be caught up there. And as we do, let's take a look and just see how everybody else decided to spend their afternoon. Okay. It's always kind of cool as we're getting further into the game here too to see more of a split between activities. Earlier on in the game, when there were fewer choices, you'd see like 98% social links and 2% daily life, or splits the other way. But now it's a lot more varied. It's not quite 50-50, more like a 2/3 split. But there's still a third of people that went with the daily life side of things, and the others that went with social links. We still haven't met anyone named Suimitsu. We've encountered Maiko at the shrine and the old couple at the bookstore, and I do like to spend time with social links when I can. But the fact that exams are coming, that definitely is on my mind. Looking at everyone's average levels in Tartarus exploration as well, we're a little bit behind there. We're level 13, I believe, and I think we ended up around floor 26, 27-ish. So we've got a little bit of makeup progress to catch up there. Nothing hugely imperative right away, but something to not let go too long either. Either way, that side of it doesn't affect our afternoon choices here. But I do have to make a choice. Well, let's roam the school just a little bit. Maybe take that usual afternoon stroll to enjoy the nice weather as we contemplate the best use of our time. It's almost time for exams. The third years are really smart, so we better score well if we don't want them to laugh at us. Maybe I should study at the library. I get so tired when I study late at night. There has been a lot of reference to the library. It seems like almost more than coincidental at this point. There is a big part of me that is considering headed that way just because the game is really being direct about that idea. I'm not going to fully commit to that yet, but it is leading in my mind right now. Some students here to eavesdrop on, some informed students. I heard someone was attacked on the streets here. They say the victim's injuries weren't too serious, but it's still pretty scary. So they were just attacked? Like unprovoked? I don't know. Maybe they had it coming to them? Does that make it better? I'm not sure it does. It still means prevalent violence, which is not a good thing. Well, if we do head for the library, that would be down that way. Oh, we got somebody to talk to down this hallway. Let's zigzag our way down that way. A brown-haired student. You know that chick back there who's been following me? I don't know what to do with her, so I'll just leave her hanging. Huh. Well, let's see what she has to say about this. Get out of everyone's way as I talk to her, the fawning student. I know I can't go on without talking to him, but maybe I would be satisfied just staring at him from afar. What should I do? That is the dilemma, isn't it? You've got that infinite possibilities right now before you ask, but once you ask, it's out there and a decision is made. And if it's not the answer you want, then there's that just chance that maybe I was better off not knowing the answer in the first place. So I hope she figures out how she wants to address that. I'm probably not the best one to go to for advice on that, so I will wish her well and not try to meddle in affairs that don't concern me. Let's head into town and just see who we can talk to. Looks like everybody's pretty normal outside of school here. Let's see what movie's showing its screenshot today. I don't see myself going to a movie, but it's always nice to kind of see what titles are out there. Love Jatem Sarang. The title is on screen for everybody to read, so I don't keep butchering it. It's now showing. High school students pay 1,500 yen. That actually would help our academics. We haven't been to a movie before. But for the same reason that eating fish doesn't really seem like the best way to prepare for exams, I'm not sure watching a presumably French movie would necessarily be our best bet. It still feels like if I was going to make a choice, the library would be more fitting for actual, real academic progress. And the fact that it's free is just another benefit for the school side of things. We've got the brown cat still hanging out here by the barrier. And our friend the weak cat here, Mew. Good to see you, weak cat. Hope you're hanging in there. We'll stop up at the Polonia Mall here too, just to see everybody before probably, I'm thinking it does sound like a good idea to go back to school and just try to work on our academics a little bit more. I always start on Game Parade side, so we'll go around the other direction this time. We'll check in with Officer Kurosawa. We didn't go to Tartarus last night, so I don't have any more money than I had yesterday.
Come to think of it.
As he's been telling us, the people with apathy syndrome have been seeming to recover. So he's happy about that. I'm happy about that. And we do have 11,000 yen. So we're not as broke as I'd been for a lot of the time. But I'm by no means wealthy right now either. I wanted, like, I kind of running through some finances in my head, but I guess I should talk that out for everybody here. I've got 11,000 yen right now. One of Elizabeth's challenges for us was to get a fortune told before we go to Tartarus next time. The rarity fortune, which makes rare shadows more likely to spawn, which is going to cost us 3,000 yen. So I want to budget for that this time. I hadn't quite, thought that far ahead last time, so I didn't have enough to get that fortune before we went the other day. I don't know what this evening's going to bring, if anybody will even be available to go to Tartarus. So I don't want to put that cart before the horse there. At the same time, I don't want to sit on a bunch of yen that I could turn into new footwear or a new weapon that would be beneficial to have on our person during the exploration. And if I do end up studying at the library, that won't that won't require a specific persona, since there won't be any social link progress being built up. I've got nothing to sell, right? Nothing to sell. And there's nothing that really says I need to spend down my yen either. I mean, it's a good resource to have as much on hand as I can, just for whatever incidentals do arise. I guess if I get to the evening and people are available to go to Tartarus and we decide to go to Tartarus, that's when I could stop in with Officer Kurosawa here and pick up whatever I can afford after getting that fortune. That might be the most responsible way to go with this. Yeah. That sounds good. How's it sound to you guys? No objections? All right.
All done here?
Officer Kurosawa, thank you for showing me your wares here. I'm hoping your day's going well. And I'll keep doing all I can to keep the peace.
Come back soon.
I don't think we've completed anything for Elizabeth. It's as if your presence emanates a far brighter radiance than before. Perhaps all your hard work is starting to show. Here, it may not be much, but this is my gift to you. Please accept it. Another Twilight fragment. Must have made a little bit of social link progress to warrant that.
I'm looking forward to it.
I cannot foresee the limits of your potential. I look forward to witnessing you grow even further. Let's check in on our requests.
Here are my requests. I won't insist you do anything, but it'd be greatly appreciated.
I'll try to do all I can to help you. Yeah, it looks like nothing we can really make any further progress on right now.
Very well, then.
Let's stop in and say hi to Igor while we're here.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Nice to be here again today. Igor, Elizabeth, always great to see both of you. Thank you always for being there to help me. Just hope your day's going well. Wanted to stop in and say hi. And I guess I'll let you get back to it. But hope you're taking a good time with it all.
We look forward to your next visit.
Always nice to check in on them and see everything's all status quo.
Right.
Let's stop into the pharmacy here and see what we can see. So there was a little bit of new medicine added this week. Not a whole lot, but a couple new options for us. Mainly just here to say hi to the pharmacist and hope all's going well with his day as well.
You got everything you need?
A pharmacy that's not busy is probably a good pharmacy overall. You don't want people to have to be here buying a lot of medicine. So hopefully everybody's keeping healthy.
Come again, yeah?
Yeah. And what's Game Parade got today? Maybe You Are the Answer, a competitive quiz game to raise our academics. We've done that before, that's been fun. And Edgar's House of Fortunes to raise their persona's magic. And for the same reason that a fish dinner and a movie probably aren't the best to prepare for exams, I'm going to say a quiz game might not be the best either. It could be, but I think targeted studying with the school is still probably a little bit of a better choice. Normally I'd head off to the shrine, but I know Maiko is waiting there to play with us, and it seems kind of cruel to, walk around there and have her see us and then not go play with her, so... To sacrifice the false hope that I would be giving her by showing up there, I think I'm going to make my way back to school early here. I know if I saw her too, I'd probably just want to spend the afternoon playing with her. And that wouldn't be a bad use of time. I want to make that social link a little bit stronger and help her out in whatever she's going through. But at the same time, I do need to try to be a responsible student, and a lot of that does come with proper exam preparation. That's the printing room, though. So let's spend our afternoon at the library. Let's do it. I always kind of liked libraries myself. I don't know how everybody else felt about them, or if they're even as relevant as they ever used to be. To me, there was always just something so cool about old books and stuff like that. Things like the card catalog and just the sorting system to everything. The tactile feel of the paper and the smell of an old book and everything. It's just, all those little intangibles that really came together to make the library a real experience. Just, the nice quiet atmosphere was always nice too. So, I studied by myself at the library. I feel smarter after working on some difficult problems without giving up. Another bit of progress in our academics. And again, I feel like this really targets our own specific exams that are coming up. It's getting dark out. I should wrap up and return to the dorm.
Welcome back.
Sup, dude? I'm so tired of studying. Hey, let's go to Tartarus. I will think about it. I don't want to rule anything out. Yeah, there's a good chance that we probably should keep studying, but I'm not going to say no right away.
Nice.
Sweet, I knew I could count on you, man. You're coming too, right, Yucatan?
Hey, listen.
You know exams are just a few days away, right? But I guess I could use a break from studying. All right, I'll come too if you decide to go. Well, now I'm a little torn. Like, there was part of me that thought going to Tartarus would be a good idea and would be kind of fun, but maybe now isn't the time for fun. Maybe now is the time for responsible, academic growth. I guess I'll put my bag upstairs and cross those bridges as we see where we can go. All right, got my bag put away. Let's check our messages. Game Parade. Come play our popular crane game and try to win a prize. Then stick around and hop into one of our many immersive video games. There's great fun to be had, whether you're alone or with friends. We can't wait to see you. And Chagall Cafe. Part-time positions open. We hope everyone is having a great day. Chagall is looking for someone to work the cafe today. Students may apply, no experience required. This is a paid position, and perks include free pheromone coffee. We look forward to meeting you. Some good options there. How did other people spend their night? Okay. still a little bit of a split. A quarter of the people went off to Tartarus. Everybody else went to do other things. And again, yeah, I'm kind of torn on that, because it doesn't sound bad to get back to Tartarus and try to make some real solid progress there. Especially since we picked up some new armor yesterday. I could stop and get that rarity fortune at Club Escapade. And then I could make my way over to Officer Kurosawa and potentially spend a little bit more there, since we'll likely come away from Tartarus with some things we can sell to recoup some of that spending, which wouldn't be bad. But again, looking at our calendar and seeing it actually in front of us here, today is the 13th. Exams are on the 18th, so we've got 5 days until exams begin. Is this really the time to be out not focusing on our academics? It's a hard call. Let's head downstairs and talk to everybody. Junpei seemed excited to get away from his studies, which, as I say it like that might be kind of enabling a bad habit. Yukari seemed a little more reluctant, but not opposed necessarily to having that break. Again, yeah, by talking to everybody, maybe we'll get a new perspective to things. So we'll start with the TV. Let's see what's on. Who evidently left some gauze inside his patient's stomach. The hospital settled with the patient for over 1 million yen. Next up, the summer weather forecast. Hard to think we're thinking summer right around the corner already, isn't it? All right, Akihiko, do you have any sage advice for us? What do we do tonight?
Let me think.
Hey, not that you were thinking of pulling one or anything, but all-nighters are completely pointless. Whether it's training or studying, daily practice is what really provides results. True. Although, there are some things I've gotten through with that last-minute cram session that, I wasn't proud of, but I got the grade I needed, so... Yes, actually learning the material is the better way to go, and regular practice and repetition is the best way to go. But to say that it's, pointless... not. Yukari, weigh in on this. What should we do tonight?
About that.
I guess it's true that missing one day of studying probably won't change our results that much. Even saying it like that almost sounds like I should feel guilty about that. It's like, I can risk my academic future if you guys want to go to Tartarus tonight. Ugh, am I really agreeing with Junpei's logic? Maybe I really do need a break. She's always that little bit of extra harsh with Junpei. Junpei!
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's gonna die if they skip a day of studying. Am I right or am I right? You're literally suggesting we go fight dangerous shadows rather than studying. It's... I don't know. I feel safer if we were studying, considering we're facing mortal danger potentially in Tartarus. So the odds of dying in something tonight seem a lot greater if we're fighting hostile shadows than if we're studying, but we'll see where he's going with this. Maybe he's got a big follow-up on that. Anyways, times like this call for a change of pace. How do you feel about hitting up Tartarus? I feel increasingly like that's the irresponsible choice, actually. I want to go there. I do. I really like the exploration side of things, and I want to get further in the tower. But everybody I've talked to has made me, in the back of my head, have that seed planted of the people that want to go are the ones that are trying to get out of the obligation, and the ones that aren't sure about going are trying to prioritize what is probably a better priority for the night. Maybe we can clear our head with a walk. Again, I don't want to pull Yukari away from her studies if she's making progress. And she's alluded that, maybe a break wouldn't be bad. Okay, I get that. And Junpei straight up says he doesn't want to study, so he wants that distraction. But again, am I just enabling problems then? Am I being that excuse then? Can Junpei look back and say, well, I would study, but we had to go to Tartarus. So I had to be a team player. And I want him there. I need him there for Tartarus, but I don't want him to sacrifice his academic side of progress either, just for the exploration. And I know with 100% certainty that that's not what Mitsuru would want. And I've been on that fence, like Yukari has, on a lot of things too, about, maybe I should do a little bit more, but maybe I need that break. And there have been so many times when I've, dug in and done that little bit more, and I've come away feeling so rewarded for having done it. And then there's looking back of, man, if I'd taken a break, I wouldn't be near as far as I am right now. The more I keep talking this out with you guys and kind of thinking about it, I think more and more that I do want to focus on something academic. And, this could be that Prodigy Platter night. We thought about doing that the other night, but I ended up studying in my room. And we studied at the library after school, so maybe this is kind of that best of both worlds of actual academic progress in the form of that omega-rich food, but also a good meal that kind of gets our mind off things. I mean, who knows? Maybe we actually take some of our notes with us, and while we're eating this fish meal, maybe we practice some vocabulary or some other flashcards for whatever topic we're working on. So that could be a good use of our time. I mean, you could probably be throwing that back in my face and saying, well, if it wasn't a good choice yesterday, how is it suddenly a good choice tonight? Yeah, okay. I will acknowledge that. You got me there. But it is that bit of variety, and the game does count it as academic progress. I mean, whether we 100% agree with it or not, we do get a couple points of academics by going there, so... there obviously is some actual benefit. And like I say, if I try to interject our own side of that, like I say, we're taking some flashcards with us to study while we eat, or maybe we've got a book with us where we're going over some terms or something. I'm sure we can multitask in some way to make it actually apply to our own exams and not just to relying on magic fish to make us smarter. I mean, it's going to be a quick day if we do that, but that is bound to happen. And like I've said before, too, with that, we do need to kind of interject our own narrative to that side of things. We spent the whole day at school. That's hours right there, really. So that wasn't a quick day or a quick stretch of time by any means. Let's pull our stats up again here. We made that good progress in our charm today, so we're up to unpolished. Still sounds like a lot of room to go, but I'll take unpolished over a lot of things we could be. Unpolished means we're just a few steps away from being polished, right? But yeah, if I could gain another point of academic progress before those exams, I'd feel really good about that. I guess even if we don't gain actual progress, there's still the thought of putting the time in to study for exams or get ready as best we can. Yeah, I mean, again, the more I talk it out with you guys, the more I'm kind of pushing myself in that academic direction. I feel like there's going to be a lot of nights we can go to Tartarus where there aren't any other pressing plans. But the deadline for exams is a hard set Monday, and those exams start next Monday. We have to be ready before then. So yeah, we do need to worry about making academic progress. I'll apologize to Junpei later and say, sorry man, I went with the studying side of things. You might not like it now, but come exams, I'm sure you'll forgive me. So let's spend our evening in Wakatsu, reviewing our notes as we have some good meal. Prodigy Platter is sounding pretty good right now too. It's been a nice long day. We've already studied a lot, but we're going to keep it going. I mean, that is the high school life at this point before exams, right? Let's do it. I ordered the Prodigy Platter. And yeah, I don't see any books around him now, but maybe he's got one of those flashcard rings with him where he's going through terms, or maybe he's listening to something on his MP3 player, some lecture or something with some notes from school or whatever. I'm sure he's good at multitasking while enjoying a good meal. I feel smarter now that I've had some brain food. And yeah, I mean, maybe once he gets back to the dorm before bed, he'll do a last-minute review of some notes so he can sleep on it, basically. Some good, solid academic progress there. Again, not enough to take us up a level, but I'm sure. I mean, it's happened before, so it's going to happen again. We'll get there. All right, then. Looks like that is the end of our day. A very quick one again, but I will get us back to the desk, and let's spend some time talking about it. I'll send us back. Okay. So that was the end of Wednesday, May 13th. Yeah, the end of the day already. Hard to believe. We have kind of fallen into a bit of that routine with things, which, it's been over a month now. We've been going to school now. So it's going to kind of get to that point eventually. And there are days where you really do focus in on tasks, and it doesn't seem like you're looking back that you did a vast number of things, but you can still look back on the day and feel like you did a lot. I mean, a whole day of school. We got that question right this morning, which I felt really good about. We got that charm progress as well, which I really didn't see coming. So that was a huge win in my book. But we got to spend the whole day, going over classwork and, getting ready for exams that way. We got to see the sights after school, and I'm glad we spent the time after school in the library as well. Just because exams are really the dominating focus of everything right now. Everyone at school's been talking about it. Everybody at the dorm's been talking about it. It is the next big milestone right now. Kind of feels the same almost as the full moon we had this past Saturday. The whole week leading up to that, it's like, okay, the full moon is coming. What can we do to get ready? And now it's like, okay, exams are next week. What can we do to get ready? And that's another fun side of just, this Persona series in general. And it is that balance between a proper high school life and all the other aspects of it. Overcoming a big shadow challenge is huge from a gameplay standpoint, but doing well in exams is, I think, equally as huge, because it still requires specific preparation and proper time management. And I want to kind of equate those the same as well. So, that's how after school I decided that the library was our best course of action. We had a lot of people in school talking about the library for the last couple days as well, so it kind of really felt like the game was kind of nudging us in that direction as well. Like, hey, you remember the library, right? You can get a lot of good stuff done there. And it was nice to go in there too and just kind of think about libraries in general. Like I said, I always liked libraries, so it was nice to see one and be in one in the game here. So we did that with our afternoon. I felt accomplished. There are times where I do like to prioritize social links, so there was that part of my head that was like, well, are we missing out by doing this? But for the same reason I ended up, with the decision later. It's like there will be other days for a lot of these interactions, but exams are in 5 days. And so you do kind of just have to weigh the immediate concerns with the long-term ones and try to strike that reasonable balance. So we spent our afternoon studying, and I came away feeling really good about that. And then there was just that conundrum after the fact. We get back to the dorm, and Junpei basically meets us at the door, and it's like, man, Tartarus, let's go. Can we not study today? I got to get out of here. You're a good leader, right? You'll take us to Tartarus for the night. In the time, I'm like, maybe. Coming into today, I was really thinking it sounds fun to get back to Tartarus, because it really does sound fun to get back to Tartarus. And so having Junpei kind of give me that out, it's like, okay, let's go. You want to do this, right? I'm like, yeah, I do. I really want to do this. But then to have Yukari almost be that other voice, I don't want to say the voice of reason, because that kind of sounds like it's, discounting Junpei, but just, that other opinion of that reminder of that reality. 5 days, exams start on Monday, right? Those aren't going to go anywhere, just no matter how, deep in the sand you bury your head. There is something to be said for a break, but if you haven't even started yet, can you really take a break? And even just saying that out loud, I'm like, I could be staring in a mirror right now and trying to tell myself that. It's like, okay, you have to do work before you can take a break. Remember that. So I'm going to have to try to, keep that in my head going forward with some stuff. But it was another evening then of trying to weigh those back and forth. And I was going back and forth, as you all heard. It's like, do I go to Tartarus because that's the thing I want to do? Or do I do the responsible thing that a student should do and get ready for these unavoidable exams? And it was hard because, like I say, I wanted to go to Tartarus. It really, I think, drove it all home when Junpei was talking about that life and death concept and how, it's not going to kill us, I think he said, if we miss a day of studying. And the more I talked that out with you guys and the whole, it's not going to kill us, when he wants to go do something where we're fighting shadows that are trying to actually hurt us, he would rather put himself in the way of physical harm than he would to study. To actually do something that might actually really truly kill us rather than studying. It was kind of at that point where I realized that I did have my priorities wrong with Tartarus. And that was where it was kind of that epiphany of, yes, the tower's not going anywhere. We don't know where it came from or why it shows up, but we have no reason to think it's not going to be there the week after exams are done either. So it was kind of nice to just get to talk to everybody in the dorm and have them elaborate a bit on their views on things. And I could kind of see, even talking to Yukari again, that she was feeling that bit of burnout from studying a lot. But she was kind of that other side of the equation where she was pushing through that burnout and focusing on the exams nonetheless, just because she knows they're coming. And whether we want them to or not, they're going to come and we have to be ready for them. So I really enjoyed having that chance to talk to everybody and actually put the thought into the decision. I'm sure if this was just a normal playthrough when I was playing myself, I'd have already decided at the start of the day, it's like, okay, I'm going to Tartarus tonight if everybody's available. And it doesn't matter what they say, I want to go to Tartarus. But this just feels like it made a lot more sense to our story. I mean, yes, exams are coming. We didn't level up our academics, but we did a lot of different things today. We did well in school. We studied in the library. We had a good dinner that I added some extra meaning to by suggesting maybe we took some notes with us or listened to an MP3 podcast, whatever. Because, I realize there's a little bit of hypocrisy in that I called out specifically the idea of eating fish to get smarter yesterday. Probably doesn't make a lot of sense, and I still do kind of hold true to that. But at the same time, I do kind of have to give the game that little bit of a benefit of the doubt or that break. The game does award academic progress by eating at Wakatsu, so it does obviously do something good for us. And who knows, after dinner, maybe he does go back to the dorm and crack open a book for an hour or something before bed. So we're not staying up till the dark hour to go face danger. Maybe for all I know, we got a good meal to get the brain flowing, and then maybe we had that hour before bed where we could look over our science notes or something, or research pendulums since we talked about those in school. So I'm sure that just primed him to get into some good studying at the end of his day, which will help us coming into school tomorrow and hopefully help us coming into the exams next week. And then once we can overcome that challenge, then once that burden's not there anymore, we can have our time open back up to us and use it more to our own devices. But for now, exams are coming, and we have to be ready for them. So I feel good about our choices on all that. I hope you do too. If not, either way, why don't you discuss them in the comments? Are you for those choices? Are you against those choices? If you were making those choices in your own life, would you make them that way? If you're playing the game and you were this choice, would you have made them that way? I would be interested to hear that. I've made my choices, and I'm going to be living with my choices, and that's how this playthrough is going to go. But you'll feel free to talk it out in the comments. It'd be interesting to see what other people's perspectives are on these things. But on all that, I believe that takes us to the end of our day. It was a quicker one, definitely a quicker one. But like I said, it was quick in the presentation, but still full of a lot of different little things that made it still a full day. So that takes us to the end of Wednesday, May 13th. It's been another good, productive day, and I feel like we accomplished a lot. I want to thank you all so much for being here. My name is Tom Shima, and I'm streaming this Persona a Day playthrough every day live at 12:30 Eastern Time. So anytime you want to watch, you can do so then. I also upload each day's playthrough to YouTube, so if you want to watch the current day or any other day, I have a playlist available. I hope everyone just has a spectacular Wednesday, May 13th, that you can accomplish all the things you want to get done, and you feel really accomplished by the end of it. I have been Tom Shima. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you again. Goodbye. With that, we've reached the end of the day. Please look forward to next time to see where the game goes from here. This journey is being streamed live on my Twitch channel if you'd like to be there in person for the experience. Links and schedule details can be found in the description. I'll keep uploading each day's session to this channel so you can keep watching here. Once again, I'm Tom Shima. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you again as I continue the series, Persona a Day. What will tomorrow bring?